Indonesia's Sharia economy has been shaken by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, Bank of Indonesia sees that the Sharia economy performance was generally better than the national economic growth in 2020. And to know deeper about the performance of the Sharia economy from last year and year to year, of course, let's just take a look at the growth data for the halal value chain sector versus the national GDP in the first graphic. As you can see, halal value chain sector growth in 2017 was on the level of 5.86%. Meantime, the GDP growth, 5.07%. In 2018, 5.71% for halal value chain sector growth. Meantime, for GDP growth was on the level of 5.17%. And in 2019, 5.71% for the growth of halal value chain sector. And for GDP growth was on the level of 5.02%. Meantime, in 2020, the halal value chain sector growth at minus 1.72%, and meantime for the GDP growth, minus 2.07%. In the midst of the contraction in Indonesia's Sharia economic growth, there are two priority sectors of the halal value chain that are able to grow positively, even though the growth rate is slowing down. The agricultural sector was able to grow 1.85%, and the halal food sector grew 1.58% year on year. The growth of these two sectors could keep the growth contraction of the halal value chain priority sector deeper. And however, at the same time, the Muslim tourism sector and the Muslim fashion sector contracted deeply, minus 12.53% and minus 8.87% year on year. Meanwhile, in the midst of the pandemic, the existing contraction was still being balanced by the busy transactions of halal products through digital platforms, one of which is the e-commerce marketplace. And let's see the data in the next graphic. This is share of halal products through the e-commerce marketplace: fashion, 86.63%, personal care and cosmetics, 4.56%, and food and beverage, 2.73%. Books and stationery, 2.07%, electronics, 1.26%, automotive and accessories, 1.06%, and others, 1.71%. And the shift in shopping preferences for halal products during the COVID-19 pandemic is indicated by an increase in the nominal value of transactions for halal products through the e-commerce marketplace, where during May to December 2020, a cumulative growth of 49.52%. Meanwhile, the transaction for halal products was into 2020 was dominated by fashion products, with a share reaching 86.63% of the total nominal transactions through the e-commerce marketplace. The growth of online fashion product sales during the COVID-19 pandemic is relatively in contrast to the conditions of offline fashion product sales, where the moderated real sales index for the 2020 clothing category shows a drop in offline fashion retail sales. In connection with the busy transactions of halal products through digital platforms, this must be accompanied by adequate Sharia digital payment services. So what are the key factors in the development of Islamic digital payment services? Let's see in the next graphic. This is the key factors for the development of Sharia digital payment services: product and provider aspects, aspects of government, institutional, and community support, digital payment ecosystem infrastructure aspects, and aspects of human resources. And Bank of Indonesia said that the aspect of ecosystem infrastructure and digital payments is carried out by improving the Sharia digital payment infrastructure through the development of technology and other supporting infrastructure. Then the government or regulator is deemed necessary to create an investment climate that accommodates the opening of investment potential to develop Sharia digital financial services. In addition, efforts should be made to improve technology infrastructure to support penetration of service use, with the aim of increasing the user base and a more inclusive economy. In the end, Sharia economic development must also be able to contribute to the national economy, including the ongoing process of economic recovery. So what is the role of the Sharia economy in the recovery of the national economy? Let's take a look in the next graphic. This is the role of Sharia economic and national economic recovery as part of the main policy mix of Bank Indonesia, including synergies between authorities, supporting the resilience of Sharia businesses through economic empowerment based on partnership principles, and optimization of Islamic social finance such as zakat, infak, alms, and endowments. And the economic contraction that occurred due to limited mobility as an effort to contain the spread of COVID-19 has led to increased unemployment and poverty, as well as widening gaps with the, this is where the role of Islamic economic and financial policies and national economic recovery needed. Through the three things mentioned earlier before, one of which plays a role in optimization of Islamic social finance through various instruments that are believed to inclusively mitigate increased poverty and widening inequality. And hopefully by continuing to develop the Islamic economy, it can contribute even more to the national economy as well as strengthen Indonesia's position as a major player in the Islamic economy and finance. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.